Sky Temple, and they are actually going to, of course, get the first ban as well, and that is a Tychus aimed at complexity.
Yes, indeed. Still trying to load this draft up.
Yep.
Do you have the link?
I can indeed. Bam, bam. I don't know what that other thing was, but we're going to ignore it.
My BattleNet client wasn't behaving. I couldn't get the link, so.
Okay, yeah.
All right, excellent. So we do have that first ban onto Tychus from Gryphus. An interesting ban, and we also have a Zagara ban from complexity, and Gryphus is going to go right ahead and first pick on Jaina.
They didn't need to think long about that one.
Yeah, indeed. When you have two bans on ranged heroes, it's very, very important to pick up a good ranged hero, and what better one to get than Jaina? So I really like that pickup. Jaina, very, very solid hero right now, and probably the best ranged available at the moment. So good pickup.
She had quite a bit of love with the patch last week. It was only just last week. My goodness, the time really flies when you're having fun. But actually, maybe it was a little bit more than a week ago. Either way, she is absolutely strong right now. She is. I noticed this last night. Between yesterday morning and last night when I was doing some of the NA casting, we noticed a big trend. And right now, there's 5 very powerful ladies in Heroes of the Storm. Jaina amongst them, Vala, Zagara, Sylvanas, Tyrande. So it would not be too much of a surprise to see already, 3 of them on the board. You're not going to get a Sylvanas today because she is globally banned out of the tournament, as well as the Tomb of the Spider Queen. But those 5 ladies are basically in and amongst every draft.
Yeah, indeed. The girls do dominate Heroes of the Storm, but we do have Illidan coming out from complexity, and no surprise here. Illidan, very, very strong hero, a very, very top tier pick, and it would be a mistake to not pick him up in the second pick here.
Well, it's, that ban of the Tychus, man. Like, with that Tychus ban, was Gryphus intending to pick up an Illidan? Because typically when we do see Illidans, a Tychus will invariably end up on the other side of the draft. But they had first pick and they went with the Jaina. Did they expect complexity to kind of give it up? I mean, there's no support bans whatsoever.
It's possible they wanted to force out a Vala pick with that kind of ban, but I still don't really understand it because Vala is such a strong hero. Anyways, perhaps they wanted to deny some other kind of pick, but I am not sure. I'm kind of confused by it, but Gryphus is going to go ahead and pick up Tassadar here now, and we'll have to see what else they get with that. I would imagine that Tyrande would be a pretty good choice, but sometimes you don't want to double up on that utility support, Tassadar, Tyrande. Sometimes just a little bit too much utility, but actually they're going to go ahead and take Brightwing.
Oh, right. Now, as we said, Gryphus maybe not a name that has reached our ears on this side of the pond, but the Jaina, I totally understand. She's a very powerful. Tassadar, very neutral, goes into pretty much any kind of team comp. But the Brightwing as well, is this aimed at trying to control that Illidan?
Yes, I mean, Brightwing is a really nice choice against Illidan, but not only because of that kind of counter pick, it's also a very valuable hero on this map. Global presence being a very important thing in Sky Temple, so I'm just a little bit confused. I don't think they needed to get it that early. I feel that they could have denied the ETC pick here and went for a later Brightwing pick. I wouldn't expect complexity to want to go for Brightwing at that point in time because Uther and Rhaegar have such good synergy with Illidan.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't love the pick that early, but I don't mind it at all, especially on Sky Temple against Illidan.
So are we about to see perhaps an Uther or a Rhaegar right here? And Uther with the Divine Shield, with the Redemption, he's currently in a very strong spot when it comes to the support the Illidan kind of comps, because Divine Shields, I've never seen so many Divine Shields in my life, Nick.
Yes, indeed. The Divine Shield being so strong right now with Illidan, giving that extra cleanse to Illidan. And, I kind of expect to see either Tyrande Uther here, or potentially even Uther Rhaegar. The double healer Illidan can be very, very strong.
Well, they will take the Uther just to be super safe about it. They still have that last pick available to compLexity. But as I said, the five ladies, Tyrande still can make an appearance here. If it's not going to be a deny on a Rhaegar, you could very likely say Rhaegar picked up there from compLexity as well. Who else is actually on the board in terms of the heals? Malfurion still out there. Definitely a very high value pick. But I mean, Lily can definitely play to or against the Illidan's with those blinding winds. So it depends on how many, auto attackers I think we're going to pick up here from Gryphus. But they still need a tank on the board as well. And, relying solely on a Jaina DPS is probably not going to get them too far in this match.
No, and wow, we're going to see Diablo and the Lost Vikings from Gryphus. Diablo is it can be quite a good choice. There's some nice choke points, especially around the boss pit on this map, where AoE is very, very strong, so that either Apocalypse or Lightning Breath can be nice there with the Jaina. But Lost Vikings on Sky Temple is absolutely amazing. There's so much extra soaking that can be done to get that experience lead, or just keep that experience around the same. And I just feel that Vikings last pick on a map like Sky Temple is a lot of value. So I really like the pick, and I hope they are able to play them quite well.
Well, we definitely have a good bit of global presence available to Gryphus, not only with the Brightwing, but now, of course, with those Vikings. They are going to hopefully, or at least they're going to try to leverage. There's the last pick, Tyrande. So 4 of the 5 ladies, the other one banned out, are still present on these drafts. So that's absolutely amazing. But it's going to be up to Gryphus to kind of get that experience lead, to try to make things happen in other lanes. Look for some of those alternate pressures that we're going to just have to deal with there from compLexity. I mean, we don't have a huge amount of crowd clear here from compLexity. They do have the Illidan, they do got the Vala, but Illidan very likely to go off to some murking. Vala's going to not be left to her own devices either. So the solo lanes of ETC and probably Uther, if I have to take a guess, are going to be, okay. But in terms of everything else, I think Gryphus could really put forward a good amount of map pressure here.
Yeah, to be honest, I really like compLexity's setup the most here. I would have liked to see Tyrande on the side of Gryphus, but compLexity able to getting a lot of value out of that last pick as well on Tyrande. I feel lots of good synergy with ETC and Uther, plus more survivability for that Illidan pick. So I have to give the edge to compLexity in the draft here, mainly due to that Brightwing pick that I feel could have happened a little bit later. But I feel that both teams are pretty well off here.
All right, so we're just going to do a little bit of a shuffle here as we change into different lobbies, and we'll get back into that one. But as I said, I mean, there is a lot of synergy with the compLexity picks here, but I mean, Jaina as a backline for the Gryphus, she can really pump out that damage. Would you see either of these comps roaming early on?
Well, you know what? I'm not sure. I think ETC Tyrande has the potential of roaming. On the side of Gryphus, I don't imagine they will be roaming. They do have that Diablo, which is so nice for the roam, but Jaina she has slowing abilities, but not like a hard CC. So I don't know if they will be roaming. It's possible we'll just see maybe some tri-lane action. I don't know if they'll be going for ganks. They could be rotating around a bit, but
just waiting to get back into the lobby here. There we go. And we're just moments away from getting this game going, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, guys. Casters are ready. Good luck, everyone. You're not supposed to be playing. Nick is an obs. I know that you're really good at your role, Mr. Nick. I know that you're a fantastic Uther, but I need you up there in the commentary slot. So we're going to get that going here for you guys. But once more, Gryphus and compLexity, this will be best of 3, and we're into game number 1 here on Sky Temple. Winners of this move on to finals, and they are into that top 8 bracket. Not only do we have SK Gaming, Dignitas, now the new Navi, Team Liquid, Fnatic, and Gamers 2. It will now be one of these 2 teams moving on into that grand finals, which is next weekend. That's for all the money, all the prizes. And it's going to be a heck of a weekend next week.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the games. So much nice prizes and good money on the line, plus so many good teams to watch. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
It really is almost a who's who of some of the top worldwide teams at this point. I'm a little disappointed in NA. I mean, this was definitely open to EU and NA, and really it's just Barrel Boys in the first, now compLexity, as they've returned to the 4th qualifier. But nobody else really looked like they wanted to put their foot forward into that.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming up, but it's a little bit unfortunate that only compLexity has taken the first step here. But I'm excited for future cups as well. So.
Yep, there's a lot more heroes coming here, guys. This is Gosu Cup number 1. It might be the 4th qualifier, but you can actually find information about Cup number 2 on the website. And then who knows, the sky's the limit from there. We have some fantastic sponsors helping make this happen. Not only is Alienware, branding the tournament, they're supplying a heck of a lot of the incentive here for the players. And Roka, the top 3 of those 8 are actually going to go home with some fantastic gaming peripherals on that as well. Everything, of course, is sponsored and powered, that's the word, by Gosugamers and Heroes.com. So it all comes together into a fantastic event. And speaking of, it looks like we're finally ready. Mr. Nick, we're going into game 1, compLexity and Gryphus here on Sky Temple. Let's load it up, sir.
Yes, let's do it. I'm really looking forward to this game. It's going to be a clash of a little bit of different styles, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the Brightwing pick. I hope that it can do the work that it's needed to do against the fearsome Illidan comp coming out from compLexity.
So not to try to take away here from the Gryphus, but yesterday we saw an abysmal win rate with Diablo. I'm hoping that's not going to come into play here.
Yeah, a lot of the Diablo picks yesterday, the synergies just weren't lining up with the team compositions. I feel that Diablo is a strong pick, but only when you have certain heroes to go along with him.
76 hero damage, 76 healing already on the board. That was really fast from compLexity. But other than that, yeah, as I said, I mean, we're going to have to keep an eye on the Diablo. Wow, another owl actually is going to hit Inception into the top, and he is going to be here on our left-hand side. Actually, while I think about that, I have the team names wrong. So, Mr. Nick, could you please introduce our team?
Yes, indeed. We have Max Prime on Diablo, Ozzy E on the Lost Vikings, Candor 15 on Jaina, Inception on Tassadar, and Shivatas on Brightwing for Team Gryphus as the blue. And on the right side, as the red team, compLexity, McIntyre USA on Illidan, Blinks USA on Uther, Kianda on Tyrande, Urho USA on ETC, and Trummel on Vala.
Not Trummel.
Not Trummel. It's
very
not
important.
Him, guys.
He wants to make sure that you realize it's not Trummel. But yes, all right. So the team names are switched. So sorry about that. It's because we did jump into the different lobbies. Forgot to change that up. We are putting heavy emphasis up against this Illidan into the bottom lane, but I suspect the Jaina and the Diablo are going to attempt some of these ganks. Not entirely too confident they're going to find some of these targets though.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough for them. They are making their way kind of towards the middle right now, towards compLexity's tri-lane here. Well, actually, Uther roamed up a bit, and we have engaged onto Kianda. Kianda may get picked off here, and yes, he does go down the roam of Gryphus.
Yeah, Kianda's stunned just a little bit too far forward. That was really a good opportunity gank there from Gryphus, because as he said, the Uther had literally just left lane. He went top. Not entirely too sure what he was thinking about doing, perhaps a lane switch, but now during all that, yeah, it's going to be the first blood going the way of Gryphus, and now they're looking to see if they can grab a second there on top of Erho. He's going to be okay, though. There's just not enough lockdown for the ETC this early on. He is a hard guy to kill. But bottom lanes are not moving. They're staying down here. McIntyre up against the triple Vikings, although he might look for the kill on top of Eric. Can't quite grab it. But either way, it looks like it's not going to be quite the 5-man stacks for these temple trades.
Yeah, Gryphus had the early control here in the middle, but now compLexity making their way in here, and Gryphus actually opting to grab that top temple now. Tassadar defending it and taking the shots.
Looking back and forth, level 4 from both sides, and it does look like it's just going to be that mid is now going to deplete. Nobody's really going up to the top of the Tassadar. I'm not entirely too sure they can stop it at this point either. There's just too many shots into it, and it's yeah, looks like they will just trade that out early. Not really a big experience lead has developed from either side, but you can see that the 1 kill has edged Gryphus a little bit farther ahead than compLexity.
Yeah, that Diablo Jaina roam can be really, really dangerous if you are not prepared for it. And Tyrande did lose her life earlier, but relatively even game so far. And we do have compLexity going for their siege camp, but we do have a possible invade here from Gryphus.
They're gonna actually throw Uther over the shoulder there of Max Prime, and you know we have now the Blizzard to cover the retreat. The boss even wanted to get in on that one, but yeah, I mean this early on, you know, Uther does have a knack of just walking away, so to speak. So it's not really going to be anything huge, and in fact they're just now going to roam and go grab their own siege giants off their own to the side. Now Arrow once again is actually showing us that scouting ward, or that scouting drone, and they're coming in for their own invade. Max Prime, they're not really looking so healthy. We got the Vikings just trying to play havoc in there. Arrow is not leaving that point. Kandor was thinking about trying for the cap, but it will be a successful steal. And once more, we see a little bit more of the use of the scouting drone from ETC.
Yeah, that scouting drone getting buffed in the latest patch, proving its worth, especially against roaming styles. So really, really nice against that Diablo and Jaina roam from Gryphus.
Now, despite that, I mean, we still haven't put a kill on the board here for compLexity. So, and you know, they are down a little bit in terms of the experience. It's not a huge deal as of yet. We're not close to those heroics. Again, I'm looking at this scouting drone up by the Bruisers, and Shavatas, he's going to find it, and yeah, there we go. He's actually going to take it down, but it is being used fairly consistently here from Erho to look for some of these opportunities to, you know, invade some of these mercs, maybe pick off a kill, somebody who's been get a little bit too low from getting those mercs. But we don't have the response from Gryphus. McIntyre is now actually pushing out the Bruisers top, and everyone's heading to the bottom.
Yes, indeed. And Gryphus actually with the experience lead here, but not too much of an experience lead that compLexity wouldn't be able to contest. Had it been closer to level 10, that could be a problem, but I do think that compLexity is going to want to fight here.
Another scouting drone into those bushes. It's a very useful tool for some of these engages. Max Prime is just sitting down there, just trying to entertain that Guardian, but Yoden comes down. That's actually going to force Max Prime now up, but again, the big target right there is Arrow, and that's going to be the ETC. It's not the easiest to kill that battle cow, at least this early on. We got a mule now deployed from right wing, I suppose. It's going to try to do its best with this bottom lane repair. Ozzy's going to be running away with one of those Vikings. We got Blizzards and Illidan's and Storms. Oh my, it looks like Kandor actually is going to be the big target, and Jaina is going to drop Trummel. Oh, skin of his teeth is going to get out of dodge just in time. Shavatas is trying to chase him down, but it's not going to get a kill. There was a heal from Blinks. It does keep them up, but we still maintain control here with Gryphus, and we're about to actually run out of all those ammo shots there as well.
Yes, indeed. They did trade, and Urho is getting a little bit caught here, but he's going to be okay for now. Trummel's still very low on health and getting zoned out of the fight, but Gryphus has that experience lead, and it's getting really close to level 10 for them.
Yeah, Trummel getting zoned out is because Uther was pretty much just on the point. He had to lead the charge, and he made sure that he did not leave that point. You see all those last 5 shots actually going the way of compLexity, and we'll actually just take down the gate here into the bottom. But a lot of those shots did come out from Gryphus, and as I said, they have maintained that lead. They do have Vikings. It is something to say here. The Vikings haven't been split up once, but despite that, they are still holding a little bit of an edge with that experience. They've dealt with the early game Illidan fairly well, and now they're rewarded with those heroics, but they're not going to be rewarded with a window to really use those over here as an advantage over their opponents.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings, sometimes you want to keep them together early on and get a lot of regen globes and then use them later on in the game for splitting. So Gryphus is still in a very good shape. They do have that experience lead, and we do have compLexity stealing these giants over here, but Gryphus is going to contest.
Yeah, they're thinking of it. Oh, I mean, Max with that Apocalypse, he tried so hard, but in came Airho into the back, and now that back line is really starting to shred. Shavato's not really looking that hot. Max Prime going to get low, but it's going to be enough to weather the storm, and ETC is going to be the one to drop the Viking boat, doing so much damage up against this Illidan, and now he's going to be over the shoulder and into the boss as well. Once more, the boss saying, you cannot leave me out of these fights. There goes the Valet just a little bit off to the side from those Vikings, and a very convincing fight from Gryphus.
Yeah, Gryphus having tons of AoE damage, and like I talked about in the draft, this area near the boss pit can be so devastating if you get too grouped up for AoE damage there. And Yanda actually lost his life pretty early on in that fight as well. So really nice fight by Gryphus, and they're going to get a boss off of this.
Now the early game boss, I'd be very surprised if it did anything more than just this fort. In fact, it might not even do the fort. We don't have a mule though. We have no mule on the side of compLexity. That is a big difference between these. Not only are we going to be able to repair from the side of Gryphus, but now they are very much dictating where compLexity has to go. We got 2 temples spawning. I mean, are they going to dogpile one? Are they going to try to split both?
Well, looks like Brightwing and ETC both want to go on to the top temple because they both have that global presence. So we're going to have to see. This might be a little awkward standoff here in top. But we do have Illidan kind of engaging on the Lost Vikings here in middle.
And there's no boat there. We should have jump ready to go in case Aussie does need it. There's the boat coming up for that the longboat raid. We also have, I believe, just the standard Vikings, Viking Horde, spin to win and jump. So he is a-okay. Had to use the go out of it as well. But you know, if we just trade out these temples and the rest of compLexity pushes in, they might actually be able to just evenly trade out the forts here.
Yeah, the shrines ended up being a complete trade. Obviously, ETC beating Brightwing back off the top shrine, but Diablo is content to stay down here in the bottom and get the shots off. So we do have we have Gryphus ahead, already level 13, but compLexity not too far behind, opting to take their bruisers at the moment, and yep, not too much going on right now.
Yeah, we're going to get some of these bruisers. Kianda and McIntyre, they work really well as a combo, the Illidan and the Tyrande. Very easy to go murking, very easy for some of these ganks later on. Airho is actually finding himself struggling a little bit up against the Vikings. They're up here just trying to deal with this push. Max Prime is healed up as well from his adventures bottom lane, and 13 is now going to be achieved here for compLexity. So we are on the even talent tier, Nick, but it's still a whole level now between the teams.
Yeah, Gryphus definitely securing that lead, and we'll have to see, will compLexity be able to take a good team fight? They need to kind of spread out and deal with that AoE damage, kind of fade out cooldowns from Gryphus, and then engage with their full force Illidan team composition. And the teams are grouping up near the boss pit here. We do have Gryphus, Diablo player Max Prime advancing onto compLexity's position. We still have that ETC Urho in the top lane for compLexity, split pushing away, and we do have Brightwing also in the bottom lane with his team at the moment.
Yeah, we had to deal with some of those siege giants that were threatening for the bottom lane. If we have a prolonged fight somewhere, they could have actually, pushed in and did some pretty decent damage onto that bottom fort. But it's not going to be the case here. Max Prime, in fact, is just trying to do his best to help push this out as well. And so far, Airho's actually kind of going not unnoticed, but uncontested. We do now have a Gryphus pulling back. They're going to be looking for perhaps a gank or at least a little bit of pressure that they can mount themselves into this top lane, because that is where this next temple is spawning.
Yeah, and we do have Gryphus opting to take their bruiser camp right before they go to contest this. Gryphus getting close to level 16, so they could have a big advantage in a team fight, but it's looking like they don't have enough time to get to that level 16 and are going up here to contest complexity's control for the shrine.
Well, they could leave the shrine to its own devices and just try to maximize soak, but then positioning will come into play. And as it is, I mean, they are still holding a whole level above them, so they do have, you know, that little extra boost in stats. And they also now have these bruisers to push in as well. Complexity's going to have to either fight or lose out on a little bit more of that creep wave positioning. But as it is, going back and forth, it's just Erho and Max Prime, although Erho's now going to be thrown over the shoulder. He's a big target, but that's going to be the shield coming out from the Uther, just trying to keep him up. The Metamorphosis on top of those Vikings, but we should have a boat ready to go here somewhere. The Apocalypse not really doing the damage it needed to do, but the Vikings are just sticking on this backline. The Vala is going down. The Kianda is looking to get bullied out. There she goes. The Jaina has dropped, but there goes Blink and Erho to follow. That is going to leave us with only McIntyre left on the board in a 4-for-1 trade.
Yes, and the team fight of Gryphus has just been so strong, that Apocalypse, and most importantly, I feel the Lost Vikings have really just given the squishies on complexity so much pressure to have to deal with, and it just seems like complexity cannot take a good fight, and they were also down that talent tier. Gryphus did achieve level 16, so complexity is going to be hard pressed to come back in this game.
It should be noted that the longboat, I don't think, was actually used.
No, the Vikings themselves can be very, very devastating against squishy targets. So if you could get a triple Q onto a hero like Tyrande or Vala, it just does massive damage and kind of zones them out of the fight.
Well, it definitely worked wonders right there. We've now boosted up to about a 2-level lead. The Temple did some devastating damage. Those bruisers pushed in. We're looking at keep damage into that top lane. No gate whatsoever. We do have the 16 talent tier here from complexity, but as I said, 2 levels down. Is this 2 levels too late to get into this late game scenario from complexity?
Well, after about one more fight, complexity is not going to have much of a chance left. They do want to fight before that level 20 power spike, so they need to deal with these incoming mercenaries in the bottom lane from Gryphus. They have quad siege golems, but looks like we're going to have the fight coming now into this.
As I said, they need to do it sooner rather than later. That's going to be McIntyre way down south, but everybody way back up north. Max Prime is actually going to drop a little bit low. A good Apocalypse that round. A very nice red. Erho will survive at least until Max comes in and finishes him off. Blink's actually getting super low here as well, and there goes the Illidan on the back of all that as well. Kianda is not looking so hot, but neither is Trummel, but they are going to be able to hide behind this gate. Can we get a kill on Chevaltos? We can. The Brightwing will be the trade-off. It is still a very favorable fight. Once more going the way of Gryphus.
Yes, indeed, and while that fight was happening, those quad siege golems from the side of Gryphus were able to take out the full keep wall of complexity, and now we do have Gryphus going again for another grave golem as the temples are being activated in the middle and bottom.
It is all coming up aces right now for Gryphus. Level 19 and a bit. This is going to be a big golem. That's a big grave golem to go down into this bottom lane. That is going to once again dictate the movements here of complexity. They're pretty much forced into the defense. It looks like Erho's going to try to grab some of these shots into the top, but man, at least one, if not, 1.5 of these temples are going to go the way of Gryphus, and that could be the level 20 spike that they're looking for.
Yeah, it's not looking like complexity is going to have a timing window to fight again before that level 20. They are in really, really bad shape here, and any trade here that Erho is able to get, any shots from this temple is a blessing for them right now. And we do have the Brightwing from Gryphus just content to sit on that bottom shrine as Gryphus, the main 4 heroes, advance on that middle shrine to deny Erho any more shots.
I'm actually surprised that Erho was kind of just left to his own devices. He got off that entire temple, but how many temples did they suffer? It's only just, looks like it's the one keep was the big loss right there, because we did have this infrastructure into the mid to deal with before it resumed shots onto the top. But it is the level 20 spike, Nick, and this is a very bad position for complexity.
Yeah, they are in really, really bad shape here. And I feel that the reason Urho was able to get so many shots off is Gryphus had to win that team fight, take the Grave Golem, and then they were so weak they had to go back to base and heal up. But they knew about Urho and they came and got him as soon as possible. But yeah, they just couldn't, they were too weak to be able to contest him right away.
So I'm looking at continuous wins here. Continuous wins has been a fantastic tool so far. Shevatos is, we said, all right, well, the Brightwing, all right, cool. But in that draft, I mean, I think the Brightwings turned out to be a lot more useful than we originally gave it credit for.
Brightwing has been an absolute terror in this game. Brightwing just provides so much healing with that Gust of Healing. A lot of people opting to get Cleanse, but I feel that Gust of Healing is such a powerful trait upgrade at that level 7. And we do have Urho trying to get level 20 desperately for complexity, split pushing as hard as possibly can, and he's going to get that second Q tower in top lane.
Yeah, but it's the 4 Siege Giants into the bottom again, Nick, and that's going to be the keep as well. I know Urho's doing what he can, but McIntyre is going to jump in. Here comes the Apocalypse once more. Rain of Vengeance there from Trummel, not really looking like it connecting. Sheva actually did throw down that Emerald Wind, and once more, Blinks is not looking so hot into that fight. He will get all the heals that he can. Trummel, skin of his teeth once more, but he will survive. And finally, Illidan is going to drop, and there goes the Uther, unfortunately, as well. They did get 20. He has the redemption, but right now, Gryphus is on core. There goes the Olaf for the 4 1/4 kill. Man, it's 4 kills to 16. It is just absolutely bonkers to think that Gryphus has been so in control of this match, but now perhaps they have overstayed that welcome. 2 more heroes are going to be joining them in the grave, and that's going to be the Blink Forward. Ozzy is out of tricks. That should be it for the kill on top of Baylog, if he can catch up, that is. And yeah, signs of life from compLexity on the back of it. Their core did not take permanent damage, but we are still 2 keeps down.
Yeah, I was really worried for compLexity. Urho was trying to split push into that top lane, and he just barely got 20. They weren't even 20 when that fight started. The Metamorphosis came in just shy of it, and then we had Urho eventually hit that level 20 and stage dive in. And a little bit of an overextension, I feel, from Gryphus. They were in such a commanding position there, but now they've kind of let compLexity back into this game, and compLexity is picking up double temples at this time.
Double temples is very likely to lead into the double keep, if not the triple keep. No, there's too much infrastructure into the bottom lane, so it will actually just patch up this level difference. It won't give a level advantage, but we are now going to be on par with that experience. There goes both of the 5 shots, the money shots, and it's just like that. You can get the kills, turn the momentum on your opponents, and we're dead even on experience. We're dead even on keeps. There's no boss to take, not quite yet. It could be a huge advantage from either side. But if we see this from Gryphus, if Gryphus take this fight, if they get this boss, I think we could be in dire straits.
Yeah, it's going to be one last big team fight, I feel. Both teams missing several keeps. Any full team wipe at this point in the game could spell the end for the other. And we do have Gryphus taking the Siege Giants here in the bottom. compLexity is going to have some kind of answer. The Grave Golem is up, but it looks like Gryphus is just going to go for a push here.
Well, they have typically won a lot of these team fights, and they know that Urho's up to the top. He's not exactly going to take down that core by himself. McIntyre, however, he's going to throw down that Metamorphosis. He's going to avoid the Apocalypse. He's just diving and ducking in and around the place, and here comes the Starfall. Urho still into the back, not looking really that hot. We got Eric going down. The boat gets immediately destroyed by compLexity, but Blinks is in the front. He does not have that redemption, and there goes Urho once more as well. It is just Eric for not only the Uther, but the ETC, and now with 4 Siege Golems. Well, 3, it looks like we lost one along the way. This is, again, just not good positioning here from compLexity.
Yeah, a good fight for Gryphus once again, and Gryphus is just going to be content here to back off and probably go for these shrines, which will most definitely end the game. I don't think they will go for the boss here. just a unnecessary risk when they could just split up here and take the shrines.
Yeah, one shrine will either bring it down. It's just like Blackheart's Bay. One shrine will bring either a full core down to 20% or lower, or it might actually just straight out kill it. I can't really recall if it's just that enough match damage, but at the same time, double shrine is almost a guaranteed win right here.
Yeah, Gryphus in a very, very good position, and ETC and Uther just respawning now. I do have to, well, no stage dive even available, and the core is just getting pummeled by the top shrine from Gryphus, and it'll be one last little fight here in the middle, but will it even matter? I don't think so. Forecourt.
11, 8, 5, 3, 1. As I said, I'm not entirely confident that the one shrine can take it down from 100 plus shields, but just like in Blackheart's Bay, it's almost guaranteed as a win condition. Double temples, however, is 110%. I mean, that's going to be how that ends off. So a very strong performance from Gryphus. You know, again, we maybe really heard